Now, how do you know your boiler gas valve isn't faulty? Well, let's get on with it and find out exactly how we're going to test these things if we assume they are broken. Now, the first test we're going to be doing is we're going to be testing the resistance in the coils of the top and bottom solenoid valves. Now, first thing we need to do is make sure we turn the power off to the boiler, and if we require to do safe isolation, then we must test for safe isolation. Always remember, we need to be safe because we need to go home to our families. Next thing we're going to do is remove the plug off the gas valve itself. Now, some are just pull straight off, and others you will need to undo a screw to actually get them off. Number 3, we need to set our multimeters to the ohm setting. Now I'm going to be using the Socket & See DLM Pro because the ohm setting is automatic and you don't need to choose a range. Number 4, we need to measure the resistance between the pins. Now it says usually top to bottom or pin 1 to 4, but I'm going to go right the way through the procedure because some valves have more pins than others. Number 5. Reading should be around 180 ohms plus or minus 10% for the bottom coil and 380 ohms plus or minus 10% for the top coil. Now take that with a pinch of salt because you should be looking in the manufacturer's instructions for the actual readings, and some give a lot lower than this. But normally, if you get a reading of less than 20 ohms, then it could be broken. Number 6, a reading of OL, or open line, indicates a broken circuit and a faulty gas valve. Again, we're going to go right the way through the process for this. And number 7, check for earth leakage from the centre pin, the earth pin, if you've got one. Anyway, that's the procedure. Let's get on with it and actually do the tests. Now let's have a look at these pins on these gas valves. So if we start with this one, you can see here, this one's got 5 pins. So these 2 on this side are for here, the middle one is the earth pin, and these 2 on this side is for here. So that is a valve with 5 pins. This one has 4 pins. So the third one in from the left here, or my left, your right, is the earth pin. These 2 pins here are for the bottom coil or the big coil, and this one here is for the small coil or the top coil. So these 2 coils share the same neutral. So that's the difference with this one. This one also has 4 pins, but doesn't have the earth pin. So it has 2 for this one and 2 for this one. Now this gas valve only has 2 connections, even though it's got 2 solenoid valves. This is one of the modern gas valves. This is off a Logic, an Ideal Logic. This is a 230 volt one, not the 24 volt one now they have, but they look exactly the same. So that's got 2. These 2 have got 4. And this one has 5. So let's get them tested. Now, first thing we're going to be doing is testing the one with the 5 connectors. Now, first thing I need to do is put my multimeter onto the ohm setting, which should be that one. I'm just going to put the 2 probes together and check we've got continuity, which we have. Now, it doesn't matter which way around we test these pins, because we're just making a circuit. I'm going to start to this left-hand side to this right-hand side, so the 1 to 4 pin. So we should be getting a reading on the screen there. So we're getting 524. Then if we go on to the next 2 pins, so I'm doing kind of the 1 and 2. So we're testing this coil here. What we're getting on that one, we're getting 433. So if I go down to this end and test these two, which feed this coil, 426 is it? So those coils are both working, but we can also test and make sure we're not getting short to earth. So I can go onto the earth and touch these, and if we're getting a buzzing, then we've got a problem, but we're not getting any buzzing. So looks like that one's okay. Now if we test on these two pins at the end, you can see we've got a reading of 398. If I go again from 1 to 4, we're not getting a reading. And if I go again to the neutral, we're not getting a reading. So if you don't get a reading, or you get OL on the screen, then there's something wrong with it. Is there a short to earth? Are we getting a buzzing? Nope. So this coil is broken. Now, when it comes to testing the 4-pin one where you've got 1 on one side and then the 3 on the other, again, we can go from pins 1 and 4, as they call them, so top to bottom. So what reading have we got there? So we've got 598. Now, to test this pin on its own, we need to go to the second one in, and then this outer one. And what have we got there? We've got 577. And again, if we go on to the earth pin, and then we go on to the other 3 pins, we shouldn't get a buzz. And if we do get a buzz, then we mean we've got a split wire in the coil and it's going down to earth. This gas valve also has a modulation rig, or a modu rig, which regulates the gas flow via here and the pressure via here. And again, you can see it has wires connected to it. Now, if you wanted to do low pressure on these, you just take one of the wires off, but that's another story. So what do we do for testing these? Again, we have our multimeter set to ohms, and we just go across these two here. So you can see it's just a matter of going onto these 2 prongs, and again, we have a reading of 45.4 ohms. Again, look into the manufacturer's instructions to see if this is correct or not. Now, the hardest one to measure is this ideal gas valve with the 2 little prongs down here. It's a lot of fiddling, and especially when you've only got 3mm on your probe sticking out. So here it goes. Let's see if we can actually get on it. So we have a reading of around 601. So that's how you take the reading on that one. And again, you would look in the manufacturer's instructions to see what the actual readings should be. Now, last gas valve I want to check is this Worcester one. Now, this still has a top and bottom coil, but it has 2 separate plugs. Now, just a word of warning with these wires. So you can see we've got purple and blue. Or we could have blue and purple. There's nothing to stop them being put in the wrong way around. So just check your manufacturer's instructions to make sure your wires are the correct way. If you've got a fault on a gas valve, because you never know, somebody could have been messing before you. So first one we'll check is the bottom coil. So let's check that one. What reading are we getting there? So we're getting 95.9. And if we go on the top coil, we're getting 179. So again, check the manufacturer's instructions and see if this Worcester gas valve is correct. Now, before we crack on doing some more tests on gas valves, did you know we do merch? So we do this cup. We do quite a few cups now. It's got a nice picture of me on the front, and it's got the gas rating on the back, and we have just launched a brand new mug with our new logo on it. It's not a picture of me now. It's a tomcat wearing a hat with a gap in its teeth. So technically it is me. But did you also know we do phone cases? So we do phone cases for the new iPhone and the old ones. Difference is on the new one, because it's so much bigger, you lose a picture of me. But we make them for all phones. So there is a link in the description below for you to check out our merch. Now there are a couple of tests we can do for testing if the coil is coming on or it's working or not when it's actually on the boiler and we're not testing the actual resistance of it. Now the first test is the paperclip test. Now I've seen this all over the internet as if it's a brand new thing. Sorry guys, it isn't. This has been out a hell of a long time. Now get a paperclip, put it onto the actual gas valve and it doesn't stay on. It's not magnetic. So let's turn the water on and they should stick to the gas valve when the solenoid's open. As you can see, it's stuck. If I turn the power off, goes off. So that's one way of doing it. Now, the final test I'm going to be doing is using a digital manometer, or you could use your water gauge. First thing I need to do is connect onto the inlet gas supply. So on this gas valve, it actually says in and out on these. So I'll just get my little torque into here. And if I open this up, I should hear some gas coming out. So I don't need to take it out all the way. I can now connect on to the test point with my digital manometer, and it's showing a standing pressure of 24.5 millibars. Now, if I turn the tap on again, when it fires up, we should get a drop and then it should go back up again. 1 or 2 millibar drop. Let's have a look. It's obvious it's working because it's there, but there is another test we can do. So now the boiler's turned itself off completely. We've got a standing pressure of 24.6. Let's isolate the gas supply underneath. And what that should do now is trap in the gas. So we've got 24.1. Let's go and turn the tap on again. So when the boiler tries to fire up now, let it go. It's actually gone down to 0. So we know the gas valve has opened. So we're on minus 4.6. So that's another way of testing whether the gas valve has opened and it's not faulting on ignition. Don't forget to reset your boiler and tighten in your test nipple, and don't forget to spray it with your Elgia. So that's my look at testing gas valves on boilers. So hopefully you've liked the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.